Folks, welcome back. House Republicans are demanding more answers about the newly appointed Hunter Biden special protector. His name is David Weiss. Congressional investigators want to know more about an October 2022 meeting where whistleblowers claim Weiss told them he was prevented from bringing charges against Hunter. Weiss offered to testify before the Judiciary Committee about all of this, but that was before Merrick Garland conveniently named him as special counsel. So will the GOP allow the DOJ to kill the Weiss testimony? Let's discuss with a member of that committee, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman, it is always great to see you. Your committee invited Weiss to testify under oath. Will the GOP insist he still appear and ignore this clearly political special counsel appointment?
We will. Moments ago, I got off the phone with Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan and a number of my colleagues from the committee, and we absolutely are going to insist that Mr. Weiss come and answer our questions. And we should not subjugate our oversight authority that exist in Article 1 of the Constitution to these Article 2 claims of ongoing investigation. We also expect that we will have Attorney General Merrick Garland before the House Judiciary Committee in the coming weeks, and we'll have a lot of questions for him about the double standard of justice that we continue to see applied to Joe Biden, his family members, and then conversely to President Trump. So it'll be a lot of questions, but the fundamental question is, I think, what you posed in your opening: are we going to continue to fund this? The bottom line, Chris, is government funding runs out at the end of September. And I do not believe that a single agency should be eligible for a continuing resolution and ongoing funding if they have not responded to our request for information, our subpoenas, and our demands to get answers.
Amen to that. A lot of conservatives are saying, what good is testimony if we continue to fund this lawlessness, which you were just referencing? One Republican is called to defund Jack Smith's partisan witch hunts, and the Weiss appointment was made because the GOP House conservatives, I believe, are just getting too close to exposing the truth about Joe and Hunter Biden. Shouldn't Weiss also be defunded so he can't impede House investigations?
Oh, yeah, I don't think we should have any stamp of approval on this David Weiss feature of the Biden cover-up, because that's what it is. Weiss's appointment is just the next step in the cover-up after the sweetheart plea deal didn't work. And everybody in the country knows it. And they rub our noses in it by bringing Hunter Biden to the state dinners and having Joe Biden's answers just continue to change, as if we're supposed to accept that him calling in to these business dinners wasn't a signal that he was there to play ball and to provide influence to people who are willing to write the biggest check. And I think that if we do not begin this impeachment work, we're going to look unserious as House Republicans and conservatives. And I'm telling you, on this judiciary call that I just got off of moments before speaking with you, Chris, we had some of the more moderate members of the Republican conference saying that we need the powers of an impeachment inquiry. And I was heartened by the full-throated support for that position that we received from our judiciary colleagues.
Right on, right on. Well, that sounds like progress. I want to turn to the Democrats are seeking to politicize science and medicine again, new lockdown fears. You famously wore a gas mask in Congress, mocking the lockdowns initially, which I loved. And now we're seeing universities across the country and even Hollywood bringing back the vaccine mandates and the mask mandates. There are even reports the TSA could be bringing back masking despite overwhelming data that masks don't work at slowing the spread of viruses. What can the public and the GOP do to address these non-scientific moves by the private sector and government, respectively?
Well, we learned that we can have tyrants at every level of government, didn't we? We had tyrannical little mayors and governors and folks believing that they could dictate the American way of life. I am not going back to gutter dining. I am not going back to sitting outside of a perfectly good restaurant just because the powers that be want that type of social control. I think we can vindicate the rights of our fellow Americans, particularly in the free exercise of religion, following what we learned from the lockdowns of COVID. And if they're coming back again, I think we're going to have a lot more Americans a part of our political coalition to stand for freedom. You know, we saw the political coalition passion for Republicans really grow when you had Democrats trying to lock people in their houses with their kids and tell them that they couldn't go to work and couldn't experience the American way of life. So I think actually, Democrats would really suffer a political consequence for that if they go back down that road.